Welcome to the Online Car Show channel. I'm James, and today we're going to be going over Moza Racing's current steering wheel lineup. That includes the GS steering wheel and the RS D-shaped steering wheel. So without hesitation, let's get this video started. All right, well, today we're going to be reviewing some steering wheels from Moza Racing. Before I get too far along, I want to do the channel updates real quick for y'all. We've got the Corvette ZR1 here still in the garage. I think what I'm going to end up doing is going with the Pro Speed expansion tanks and the bumper for the supercharger cooling. We're going to go ahead and replace that whole wiring harness, the fuse box, get everything preloaded with water, and then send it off to Matt, the tuner, to bleed, and she will be good. I'm going to be done with it finally. So I've still got a motto here for the Focus. We're going to be doing 2 sim racing videos. This is one of them. And then I'm going to do the Focus mod, be releasing it. So a bunch of stuff coming for the channel. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. That helps me out, helps my channel to grow, helps get my videos out there, and thank you for that. So let's go ahead and get to the discussion of the Moza Racing steering wheels. If y'all didn't see my last video, I went over why I chose Moza Racing and what led up to that decision. I did shop around, tried different companies. Moza honestly had the best offering. Been happy with them. I guess I've been using them for about a month now almost, and it's been awesome is all I can say about it. It's so worth it. Those that are thinking about going direct drive, do it. But anyways, let's get on to the review at hand. Let's go over their GS, which is their new wheel, open wheel style, and their RS D-shaped steering wheel. First off, I'm not going to do an unboxing on these, but I do want to go over real quickly and show y'all how well these were packaged. Each one of these came in a impact foam specifically designed for the steering wheel. Each steering wheel had a cover over it protecting the wheel and keeping static off it, and it also makes a really nice bag just to store in your house or whatever for the wheel. So packaging, all of that was great. It came with stickers. These stickers of course are to put on the wheel and replace if you don't want camera button down here or menu or whatever you want to change it up. The stickers allow you to do so. It was one complaint they had from other reviewers, so they've corrected that issue, and there's stickers in here. Both wheels had sticker packs. So all right, we got the RS D-shaped steering wheel here. Now, just to go over something real quickly with you guys, there are 4 different options for this wheel. You've got a RS Alcantara, RS Nappa leather, which both are circular wheels, and then you've got the D-shaped wheels, the RS D-shaped Alcantara and RS D-shaped Nappa leather, which this is the D-shaped Nappa leather option. I went with that option just to let y'all know, just because occasionally when I'm using a wheel like this, I don't have gloves on. I'll drive this wheel typically with my performance cars, sometimes GT4, Miata races, stuff like that. I don't have gloves on typically for a lot of those races. I like this, it's a little bit more low-key racing, whatnot. So I went with the leather just because it's a little more sturdy. The Alcantara will be softer in your hands and have a little bit better feel. Let's get beyond, I guess, the specifics of the option package I went with. Let's start with the back. One thing I love, the Moza steering wheel, their quick release system is awesome. I'll give you a demonstration here. I just love that click-in noise it makes when it makes contact, and it just seems to go in the right position no matter what. I watched another review video. These little pins in here you want to be careful with. They are spring-loaded. I've never had any contact issues, and in a video they did, another guy did, Sim Racing Garage or something, he put it to the test and he never had an issue with contacts or buttons not working or anything like that. No issues with the connector itself, very high rated. This style connection is actually used in a lot of race cars out there, so it's been proven for decades. Next we'll move on to the flappers themselves. You can see the upper flappers, or shifters if you want to call them, are paddle shifters. They've got a magnet on each one. They're super clicky, really tactile feeling, have a good feel. The spacing of them from my hands, I have large style glove fingers. If you want to see the spacing, it's been pretty good. It's definitely more for an adult size hand and less for a child's. I would say large size gloves. It fits my hand perfectly. And I think one of the steering wheels had a kit where you could actually extend it if you wanted a little bit more, but this has been perfect. As you can see, it's good spot for that. Below those two, we've got if you're in a formula racing and use a steering wheel type clutch, this would be your secondary clutch, and it works really good. It doesn't have the magnet there because it's a clutch. You know, it needs to have a more gradual soft feel, and it does fulfill that. I guess from there we'll move on to the front of the wheel. And first off, the initial look and presentation of this RS steering wheel, it's just awesome looking to me. I love the look of it. It's got a yellow ring here that it really helps you in driving to see, you know, where the center line of the wheel is. Speaking of the wheel, we'll go over that. And one bad comment people have made online is that this is the wheel moves in a lot at the top, and I do confirm that it moves a lot more than my Thrustmaster. You know, there you go, y'all can see the movement there. So the top portion here, it's like from here to here, it's not as stable as the sides. I don't know if it's some kind of structure thing that's behind there, but it definitely has some movement. Now, my biggest thing on this is, why does that even matter? Because who drives like this? I guess if you were doing rally or maybe some drift style racing or something, that might matter more. But honestly, it's not too bad. You can see it is more movement than my Thrustmaster wheel had. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but it's still structurally sound. And the other thing about the wheel, let's get on, I guess, to the shape. As you can see here, it fits my thumbs very well. The groove they have in the shape of the wheel is perfect, and the actual size of it left to right is more like a steering wheel. You know, some of the Thrustmaster wheels I've had in the past, they felt like toys. They were so thin. This has a really nice width to it that allows you a little more precise movement in turning. On the back, it's got a little indentation. It's hard to appreciate seeing it, but it's got little indentions kind of right here, and I really enjoy those because my fingers go into those perfectly and just give me a little more stability while driving. I like that little indentation. Nobody online really mentioned those, but it's a nice touch. From there, we'll go on to, I guess, to the buttons. And one of the big things that separates the Moza wheels from other wheels is their center button actually works. You can use this as a horn, or I'll typically use it as headlight flash. From there, we've got 2 buttons on each side on the top. You've got 3 on each side on the bottom, so a total of 10 buttons there. You've got both of these rotary knobs, brake bias or traction control, or however you want to map them. Both of them also push down, so that gives you 13 buttons total. Plus, you've got 2 joysticks here you can map out for menus or looking around the car or whatnot, and they also push down. So that brings it to a total of 15 buttons that are mappable in the game. Plus, you've got 2 rotary knobs and 2 joysticks, as I mentioned. Next, it's got an RPM gauge that goes across here. This is really cool, and it's got 2 different ways you can set it up in their software. But I've really enjoyed that, and it really helps my shift points. This thing's awesome, and you can custom set it to whatever RPM you want in their software, and I recommend setting it up by car, saving profiles by car. But the width of it and all that, it feels, you know, very structurally sound when driving. I don't have any issues with this one. structurally sound, feels great driving, has a good feel to it. It's really thick, as I mentioned in my other videos, and like I said, I've got large hands, large size gloves, so I really enjoy that. It's honestly one of the thickest sim racing wheels I've ever felt. It's super thick, and I enjoy that. It makes it feel like it's something substantial in my hand when I'm driving. And honestly, my fingers don't get all bound up and crossed over themselves like a little wheel will do. So let's go on talking about the GS wheel, and then I'll go over some driving footage of each. All right, the GS steering wheel from Moza Racing. This wheel, this is their newest steering wheel in their lineup. Currently, as I mentioned, they only have the RS and GS options. This is kind of their open or GT style wheel. Looks of it, it's just gorgeous. I noticed a lot of these switches are identical to an F1 Formula style, so it's got all of your switches needed for Formula style racing, and it works really good as a GT wheel too. I use this for GT3, some GT4. Let's start off by talking about the back, then move on to the back. You've got the same quick connector that you had before on the RS I mentioned. Works really good. It's got little spring-loaded connections in here, and I think it also works wirelessly over talking to the hub. From there, you've got the same tactile feeling shifters that you had in the paddle shifters that you had in the RS model. These do feel a little shorter in their throw, which I would guess you'd want it to be anyways. They work really good. As I mentioned, tactile feeling. They've got a little magnet here on both sides, which sucks them back in. They work great. Below that, you've got clutch flaps, which I like how they're really small, so you know you don't accidentally hit and there's a space between them, because sometimes with other wheels I've accidentally gone for the shifter and clicked the clutch at the same time, and that's not good mojo racing. But really good, sturdy built. Looks like everything here is metal, so no issues there in the build quality. Move over to the front. Of course, it's got the carbon. It's not carbon fiber, but carbon something faceplate. I believe it's actually real, and it looks like it when you turn it. It's got depth to it, so it's not just a sticker or a hydro dip. From there, we'll move, I guess, to the outside. The grips. They're Alcantara, which feels so great. I typically use gloves when I do this wheel because Alcantara can get dirty really quick. So just a note here and a disclaimer, if you are going with the GS style wheel, I recommend getting some gloves because you are going to slowly wear out that Alcantara. And I've only owned it a month and it's still looking pretty good. No issues with the Alcantara. Still looks practically new on here, not worn out. So it's pretty good quality Alcantara leather, but I do recommend using gloves with this wheel just to help protect the wheel. It's got for the thickness, it's close. I do wish it was a tiny bit thicker. This one isn't as thick as the RS, and I do wish it shared that thickness, but honestly this is a little bit thicker than my Thrustmaster was, so it is decent. I don't know if I can really complain about that. It's close to where I like it. The width of the wheel. This one, I've seen a lot of videos where they've measured it out, and it's wider than most of the wheels out there for open style racing. But when I compared it to my Thrustmaster wheel, it wasn't actually that much wider. A lot of videos claimed it was so wide and all that. So I was expecting to get, a wheel that was noticeably wider, but honestly the width is not as wide as they claim on the video. So don't expect it to be, a lot wider than normal. It's just barely wider. And that just barely actually you do feel it racing. And it's definitely a positive, I would say, but don't be expecting it to be hugely wide. It's not that much wider. Just a hair maybe. As far as buttons and knobs, this one's got a ton, and you can tell it's an upgrade over the RS wheel because the buttons on here you can actually set in their software, and they've got colors behind them, and you can custom set each one in their software to have a different color, same color, whatever colors you want on the buttons, which helps you when you're looking down or if you're racing in, in a dark room, to actually see, what button is what by having them color coded, which is really cool. I do wish they had that on the RS wheel, but I understand it was their first wheel This is kind of an upgrade, so hopefully that means the wheels in the future will be set up like this. The buttons do feel a little bit better, honestly, to me, than the RS wheel 2. It's like they upgraded the feel or the tactile. They're a little more clicky. They just seem structurally better. Not saying that the other one was bad, but these just seem like they're an all-around upgrade. So we've got 3 buttons across both tops. That brings it to 6. You've got 2 buttons here on the side and bottom. Brings it to 10. I don't believe these are push down. No, they're not. These are just rotary knobs. So no push down to any of these 5 buttons, but you've got 5 rotary knobs. You have 2 joysticks. You could operate a menu, your black box. You know, I like to use one to move around my black box and the other one to move around car view, look around the car. So you've got 2 joysticks. Both of them do click down. So that brings it to a total of 12 buttons. You've got 2 rotary encoder knobs here. And they also click down. And this, just a side note, it took me a while to figure out how to set the colors of the buttons. You actually push down both of these rotary encoders together. I'll show you all something real cool. You got the lights, of course, on the buttons, as I mentioned, which is really cool on the GS wheel. All right, so to change the button colors on the wheel, it's a really cool trick. Took me a while to figure out. You just hold the 2 thumb buttons in, so push them both in the same time and hold it for 2 seconds. 1, 2. When it starts flashing, hold release. Now you can change the colors. Any of the buttons, whatever color you want. And then to lock it, you're going to hold it again 2 seconds. 1, 2. Done. Now the colors are locked. So you've got both of these buttons. That brings it to a total of 14 buttons and 7 rotary encoders knobs, and 2 joysticks. So you've got lots of mapping ability with this, way more than I use. GT, it's great because I can set, you know, if I've got fuel mixture, brake bias, traction control, whatever it is, I've got plenty of knobs at my touch here. And I know in the F1 games, Formula games, there's probably a lot more use for these. So that gives you plenty of options. One last thing, it also has the really cool RPM gauge that the RS possessed. It works the same way. You've got 2 modes that are possible through it. You can set every color in it, set the RPM levels of every color, so it works great. So let's get on to some driving footage and put these to the test. I've already got this set up on my Formula V setup. We're going to do Formula V race here. Figured it'd be a great little beginner car to, let's get everything started up. Currently got the RPM gauge set up on phase or mode 2, so it'll change colors as it grows the whole line. You can also set up phase 1 where it'll show all the colors on there, you know, green, yellow, red, whatever, instead of the whole bar being the same color. I love the Formula V. This wheel, you can see the force feedback there when I hit the curve. I moved the wheel. Force feedback from it has been awesome. No complaints. Like I said, the wheel feel is real thick with my larger hands. Been a lot better experience than the wheel I had before. I think I have this tuned down right now at 50%. And I just have it set in the game to auto. I'm not sure what that is on this car. I usually use the sequential gear shift, but just to show off the wheel, I've been using the paddle shifters. Not a lot of shifting in this car, but on a little late there. Should have got on the gas earlier. And now that I've got their dashboard giving me car information, I've got the side dashboard giving me driver information around me. So I'm gonna GT race and I'm in a group of guys, I can see which ones have higher safety ratings and I ratings, so I know who to watch out for a little bit better. It helps. The feel of the steering wheel is just perfect, spot on. I haven't done any endurance races with this. I have with the GS, and but it's comfortable if you had to. This would be a great wheel for pretty much everything except open wheel. You could use this for GT, NASCAR, rally, dirt track. I'm up 0.2 off last lap's pace. Let's see if I can get at least closer. That felt pretty good. And that's one thing I really love with the Moza force feedback is right there I can feel the suspension unload and reload in the turn. It really helped to help keep the car planted. Boom.
Right side, clear.
And you gotta love rookie races. Well, I guess that'll conclude the driving footage of this wheel. We'll move on to the GS. All right, so let's review the GS wheel. I've got we're at Donington Park, which is not high on my list of favorites here. And I'm in the Lamborghini GT3, which I do like. Force feedback, I think set at 50%. I had it at 60, but after doing a couple endurance races at 60, I set it back down. It wore me out. So 50% is honestly what I run this thing at. At least with GT3. Some of the formula I'll do 40%. You can see the RPM gauge going across. Love that, helps so much in seeing the flash. The way if you're looking at the road, you can still see that flash in the corner of your eye. I don't have it set perfect. It looks like it's set a little early, but you can really tweak it and get it right at your shift point. I need to do that in a Lambo. A little early. Like I was saying, the GS wheel is a tiny bit wider than most of your open wheel, but honestly, it's just slightly noticeable. It seems like it's just enough to give you a little more control, which I really like. See if we can get on it a little bit here. Yes, I do run cheater line. I'm sure I'll get a comment about it.
We're almost out of fuel. We might not make it to the end.
I will make it to the end, buddy. We still got 4.1 liters. 4 liters now. Didn't do very good in that turn. Went in too slow. Go right ahead, buddy. It's your track. Alex Rico. Typical BMW driver, right? Guarantee that car didn't have a turn signal.
You have about 1 lap of fuel left.
Yeah. Well, I hope this video, kind of illustrates how exciting and fun these the new Moza Racing Direct Drive setup has been for me. For those that don't know, I went from a Thrustmaster wheel, Thrustmaster belt drive to, you know, a direct drive Moza R16. It was, it's been such a great experience. That's all I can say. I've had it now for a month. My arms, it almost feels like I get an arm workout from it. I've really had to turn down a lot of the force feedback just because it's been so great. I generally run, you know, somewhere between 40 and 60%. And then I'll let iRacing auto set the force feedback in the game, and that's worked great. You know, on the open wheels I'll run closer to 40%. On GT style I'll run closer to 60%. So that gives you all kind of indication of the delta there. Moza Racing is taking care of me. I can't say enough about them. They've set up an affiliate link for me, so if you want to help support my channel more and you're interested in buying some Moza Racing equipment, I have a link in the description that will give my channel a small commission based off the sale. They haven't fully sponsored me because, you know, I'm not really a full sim racing channel, but it's just become a passion that I've had on the side that I've just enjoyed sharing with you guys, the experience and the journey. Anyways, if you haven't done so already, if you like this video and the content it provided, hit that like and subscribe. I've got many more updates, as I said, coming this coming week. Actually, I'll have 2 more videos, and I'm going to try to hit out 2 videos a week from now on, so we'll see how it goes, but I'll promise y'all at least 1 a week. We'll see how it goes, but thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope all of y'all have a great week.